Man, it has been a crazy time. I found out today, someone I went to school with, that I knew, and we weren't friends, but we knew of each other. And even though we weren't close, it's still heartbreaking to hear that he took his own life. And because regardless, I don't know the context or anything, but obviously the pain was so great in his heart, in his being, that he felt that was his escape. And I'm not trying to assume or anything, but that's usually the case. And I've been in those shoes. I've been for a long time on the precipice of ending my life. As dark as that sounds, it's the truth. I spent the entirety of my teens feeling like that. And when I say the entirety of my teens, I really mean that. Maybe a year or two were where I pretty much did. I was this close to just saying goodbye to the world, or saying goodbye, not doing it. And I know that place of pain. I know it very well, intimately. I was even proud of it for a bit, because I was like, I can be in the darkness, edgy. But back to the point of this video, and that's why, I'm not making this video because of him, but rather so much pain in this world, so much loss, so much grief, so much energy, so much that we don't understand, and we don't have the proper containers in the society to contain these unconscious forces, these forces that either are within us or even outside of us externally. And if you know what I mean, you know what I mean. But especially in men, in the last few days, the last few weeks, I've expanded myself in so many ways, and it's taken grief, losing parts of myself that I must let go, agreements that I made with myself or with the world that I'm letting go, and it's kicking and screaming. My ego is kicking and screaming. And this isn't me saying the ego is bad, actually. It's just an identity forged from pain, an identity forged, and I give gratitude and appreciate that version of myself. I really genuinely do. And now it's outdated. Now it's time to update. Now it's time to expand. Now it's time to let go. And it comes with a lot of grief. It comes with confronting things that I'm like, I don't want to admit it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to feel it. I don't, it's that fear, especially as men. Like, we know that you could be bullshitting yourself like, nah, I'm good. But if you touch that spot, the right spot, you will come undone. You know what I'm talking about. You feel it, right? The thing that will make you undone. And if you've already been there, you know what I'm talking about. So the reason I talk about it is it's an evolutionary process, really. And because, me being 15 years old, suicidal, in this really dark place, would not be able to handle these forces that I'm encountering right now, because I'm not ready. And it's that way for many people, where things are happening in their life, things are happening within them that they can't, it's very difficult without the proper mentorship or the proper guidance or the template. And it's not impossible, but very difficult, especially when we as a society don't talk about it, and men are being pulled here and there. We have a lot of for a while, a few years, there was a lot of hatred of men. There probably still is. I don't know. I don't have the pulse on that, because I stay away intentionally from that type of attitude. A lot of shame, a lot of hatred towards men. I understand where it comes from. I'm not saying those things are not that they're valid, but rather there's an understanding of why. There's a lot of pain there, a lot of wounding. And now we have the more prideful, build an armor of masculinity, armor, shield, have that sword. And I'm not even mad about that. I'm not blaming. I'm not assigning any emotion towards it, any shame, because that's not going to help. And I am still in that process myself. And it's better than shame. It's better than that. Anger, pride is a higher level of consciousness than shame. That's the lowest one. So it's progress, right? We're going up. But eventually, to keep going up, you have to let those go. And I say this as someone who, used to listen to Hamza, used to listen to First Man, used to listen to, some red pill content. I'll admit that. I was never fully ascribed to it, especially the more, the parts that are obviously harmful. But it's still poisoned my mind. It's still, even though there's a truth there in terms of feminine, masculine dynamics and certain things that, from my perspective, I can see the energies, the flow of those energies being true, and certain aspects of human nature interacting that way, not all the time, but in general, especially when you're in that space yourself, like you're attracting that, ironically, that is a manifestation, a true manifestation, and you can see it. However, there's a level above that, and we as men have to let that go. We have to let go because we've built ourselves up. Like, we as men, and I say as me because I'm struggling with it. It's not so much right now because it's an active shedding. I'm letting it go because I know that's the next step, and I know in myself that's not a truth anymore. That's not my truth anymore, and that's not the truth anymore. So we would rather build empires. We would rather build businesses. We would rather build with our hands, our minds. We would rather be emperor. We would rather do all of this instead of looking in, instead of doing the work internally. And I'm not talking about working out, discipline, mindset, abundance mindset. I'm not talking about those type of things. I'm talking genuinely looking within your soul, within your wounding, within what happened to you as a boy, what happened to you in your last relationship, where you failed, where it hurts, why that girl leaving you or being distant, why does that hurt you so bad? And you could be really sad and depressed, or you could be angry and projecting and just keep going in a string of bodies, and each one is like, that female is bad, that it's that female's fault. And you could say, I'm angry, I'm too good for her, blah blah blah. You're covering it up with something. That's the truth of it. You're covering it up, and it's this cycle. Now, am I gonna say it's all your fault? No. However, the accountability is on us, and there's something deeper at play. Why is it when this woman does this, I feel so triggered, and I can deny it and act like I'm just not going to text her, like I'm not going to give her my attention, I'm going to focus on my business, I'm going to get my money up, I'm going to get my body ripped. But what are you covering up with that? And it's tough because I have to look directly right now. This is what I'm dealing with, and I'm like, whoa, I'm using all of these as a shield, as armor, and it works. Okay, it will work until you confront it and you're like, that is actually not the truth. What is really hurting right now is the little boy, the child that felt abandoned, and that in that abandonment sought out these cycles of other women. And I can think of all, I feel it, the memories, and I can feel it, feel it in your body. I know what I feel it in my body. For me, that emotion, when I get that trigger, it's in my eyes, in my throat, a lump in my throat, and most of all, this hole in my heart, this in my chest, and it's real. And why? Who feels that? Who? And what do you visualize? is? What do you see? Who is hurting? And for me, it's the little boy. It's the boy that was abandoned, neglected, abused. It was the boy that felt like he didn't have a mother. It's the boy that was hurt by the people he thought he could trust. It was the boy who was rejected by his siblings, who was rejected by his loved ones. That is who's hurting. And now the woman, she might not even be doing it on purpose. It might just be on you. Her behavior is triggering that part. It's twisting the knife on that part. And it's not that she might be doing something wrong. She might not be doing something wrong, but that's irrelevant. It's the boy. Who do you see? I see him right now. And I'm looking at him. What would you give him? What would you give him? What would you do? Because this is something you can do. You would do, whatever you're visualizing, that's what you do. You don't need that woman to spend time with you, to text you back, that's the band-aid. That is the band-aid. That is temporary, because you are going to feel that again from somewhere else, someone else. It's just that in our romantic relationships, that's our greatest challenges. That's our greatest reflectors, our greatest lessons. And it's going to keep happening until you face that. And that is the hardest part. That is so difficult. But guess what? That part of you are integrating it. You are feeding it love. The love that nobody else, or he felt nobody else could give him. You're doing that for him. It's within you. You were the answer all along. You were the answer. And and guess what? That little you would be so grateful. The child, the boy, he'd be so grateful. Like, I turned out to be this man who's able to give warmth and love and empathy and compassion and all these traits that I wish I had and felt, and now I can have that. What a beautiful experience that is. And this is internal. This is regardless of what the world has done to you, regardless of what that woman did to you, does to you. And then it all begins to dissolve, like this illusion. Where I'm going with this, tying it. A lot of people have pains so great, and they don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to process it. They think they're broken. And that's something that I'm still dealing with. Despite all the work, I've realized, wow, like, I thought I was good, I'm this confident guy, relatively, well-liked, confident, successful to a degree, and yet there's a part of me still ashamed. There's a part of me still feeling like I don't deserve love. There's still a part of me that feels, oh my God, I'm broken. There's something wrong with me. And where does that come from? Where does that come from? So addressing that in this time right now is that next step. And it's really been undoing the poison. I'm going to call it poison because it's poisoning me right now. It wasn't poisoning me a year ago or 2 years ago, maybe a little bit, but not, I needed it. I needed that. I needed to learn about that type of masculinity. I needed to learn how to be rough, how to give the tough love. I'm not saying that's a whole other topic, a whole other video, but you can lead in a different way, and I'm choosing to lead in a different way. And it's going to be difficult because I'm human, I have an ego. I'm going to revert every now and then to behaviors, but I'm going to put my heart first to the best of my ability. And this is the type of work it needs. The type of work where I have to confront my own bullshit so I don't project it on someone else. So I don't pretend anymore. And I'm not saying let go of your masculinity, but masculinity looks different different than the Andrew Tates. It's different than what Hamza says. It's different than what all these guys, master marketers, are saying. And that's something for you to discover. But I promise you, with the right amount of work and being honest, completely honest with yourself, you will find it. And then you won't even care about the label, because that's how stable it is. That's how grounded it is. That what is happening externally, trying to vie for the power, is irrelevant. It's irrelevant to who you are and what you feel and what you stand for. So that's the process I'm in right now. It's been challenging, to say the least. To say the least, it's been very challenging. But it feels good at the same time. Like, I'm letting go of all of this weight. I'm shedding a lot of weight. And I'm seeing things with clarity. And it still hurts. You know, I've cried. You know, I don't really cry. I don't cry for months at a time. Like, I think I spent about 6 months or so. What the hell are you doing, bro? I think I spent like 6 months not crying or something. It was a very long time, and I prided myself. I'm like, yeah, I don't cry. You know what I did last night? Because I felt that, and not ashamed of it. It's what needed to be released, and I feel so much better, so much more real groundedness in my being. And there's no pretense. The pretense is dissolving in front of me, and I know that's what this world needs. I know we need more of that, and it hurts to learn of people that have given up, because there's more to life. There's a way to deal with things. And I'm not casting judgment on anybody, but it does hurt. Anyway, this is my message to men, and to everyone in general, but especially men. I hope this video finds you well and you're able to get something from it. If you enjoy this video, I am going to try to upload as much as possible, and I have a newsletter which I send out a little more frequently, or I'm going to do my best to do that. You know, lessons and realizations like this, if you prefer to read, and it'll be directly to your inbox. I'll put the links down below. And yeah, well, a bit of a heavy video in a way, but well, I'll see you, and I hope this adventure of life is taking you where you need to go.